Sometimes the most dangerous secrets don't fall into enemy hands because of bombs or armies, but because one person decided to talk. And when that happens, the consequences can change the fate of a nation. This is the story of Mordechai Vanunu, the Israeli nuclear technician who spilled his country's biggest secret to the world, and the Mossad agent, known only as the girl from Mossad, who lured him into a trap. It's a tale of betrayal, deception, and one of the most famous honey traps in espionage history. Before we begin, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to our channel for more similar contents. In the mid-1980s, a man named Mordechai Vanunu stunned the world when he revealed Israel's most closely guarded secret, its nuclear weapons program. Vanunu wasn't a senior scientist, a high-ranking officer, or a politician. He was just a low-level technician, one of many working quietly at the Negev Nuclear Research Center in Dimona. To most people around him, he seemed ordinary, almost invisible. A man who clocked in, did his shift, and disappeared into the background. But beneath that ordinary exterior was a man simmering with frustration and curiosity. For years, Vanunu walked the sterile halls of the nuclear facility, seeing more than he was ever supposed to. He noticed the machines, the materials, the whispered discussions among senior scientists. Piece by piece, he assembled the puzzle in his mind. He became convinced that Israel was secretly producing nuclear weapons, a fact the government had never admitted. What began as a quiet observation turned into an obsession. He started to see himself not as a mere worker, but as a man holding a dangerous secret. Vanunu's dissatisfaction with his government only added fuel to the fire. He disliked the secrecy, the policies, and the way power was concentrated in a few hands. His sense of loyalty had eroded by the time he left his job. He wanted the truth out in the open, and he convinced himself that exposing Israel's nuclear program was not betrayal, but an act of moral duty. After leaving Israel, Vanunu drifted for a while, traveling through Asia and Europe. Eventually, he found his way to London. The city was alive with journalists, activists, and political exiles. People were eager for causes and stories that could shake governments. Vanunu fit right in. He approached the Sunday Times, one of Britain's most respected newspapers, and offered them something explosive: photographs and detailed notes from inside Israel's secret facility. The journalists were skeptical at first. After all, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. But when Vanunu's photos were analyzed and experts confirmed their authenticity, the gravity of what he had revealed became undeniable. Israel had nuclear weapons. The world finally had evidence. It was the kind of scoop every journalist dreams about, and for Vanunu, it was validation. He believed he had done something noble, that he had forced the world to confront a dangerous reality. But in Israel, the reaction was very different. To the government, Vanunu was not a whistleblower. He was a traitor. His revelations jeopardized the delicate balance of power in the Middle East. Secrecy had been Israel's shield. Ambiguity about its nuclear capability was a deterrent in itself. By exposing that secrecy, Vanunu had, in their eyes, placed the entire nation at risk. The responsibility to deal with Vanunu fell to Mossad, Israel's elite intelligence agency. Known for its reach and ruthlessness, Mossad had a long history of operating far beyond Israel's borders. But this case was sensitive. An assassination in London would trigger international outrage. Kidnapping him from British soil carried similar risks. They needed a plan that was quieter, more subtle, a plan that would lure Vanunu out of the safety of Britain and into their hands. This is where the girl from Mossad enters the story. Her real name was Cheryl Ben Tov, but during the mission she went by Cindy. She was more than just another agent. She was trained to blend charm, warmth, and subtle manipulation. Her mission was clear: get close to Vanunu, gain his trust, and lead him out of London. Vanunu, for all his sharpness in uncovering secrets, had one fatal weakness: loneliness. His life in London revolved around journalists, activists, and political discussions, but there was no one by his side in a personal, intimate sense. When Cindy appeared confident, attentive, and seemingly interested in him, he didn't suspect a thing. To him, she was not a spy. She was a companion. Cindy played her part with perfection. She laughed at his jokes, asked questions about his life, and made him feel seen. Slowly, she became a regular presence, someone Vanunu looked forward to meeting. Mossad knew exactly how to exploit his need for connection, and Cindy became the key to unlocking his trust. After weeks of careful work, Cindy suggested a holiday. Rome, she said, would be a beautiful escape from London's gray skies. It sounded romantic, spontaneous, and harmless. Vanunu, blinded by the idea of affection, agreed. He had no idea he was walking into a trap crafted just for him. When the plane touched down in Rome, Mossad's operation clicked into motion. Agents were waiting, ready to move. The abduction was quick, clinical, and merciless. Vanunu was overpowered, drugged, and whisked away. By the time he realized what had happened, he was already being smuggled onto a ship bound for Israel. The operation had been a success. Israel avoided the international scandal of carrying out a hit in London, and Mossad managed to bring Vanunu back alive. Later, Vanunu would allege he was beaten and mistreated during his capture, but his protests did nothing to change the outcome. The man who had exposed Israel's deepest secret had disappeared from the streets of Rome, only to reappear in an Israeli courtroom. The trial was shrouded in secrecy. Cameras caught brief glimpses of Vanunu, often caged behind iron bars to prevent him from shouting to journalists. Israel charged him with treason and espionage. In 1988, he was sentenced to 18 years in prison, more than 11 of which he spent in solitary confinement. For years, the world barely saw or heard from him. Vanunu's case became a lightning rod. Human rights groups and activists campaigned for his release, calling him a hero who had risked everything to tell the truth. In Israel, however, many saw him as a man who had endangered the survival of the nation. The divide over his legacy remains unresolved even decades later. As for Cindy, her role faded back into the shadows. For her, it was just another mission executed successfully. There were no medals, no press conferences, no public recognition. Intelligence work rarely offers glory. But her part in the operation demonstrated a sobering reality. The most devastating weapon in espionage is not violence, but trust. Looking back, the story of Vanunu's capture reads like a spy thriller, complete with deception, seduction, and betrayal. Yet every detail was real. A lonely man believed he had found love, and in that belief, he walked willingly into the hands of one of the world's most feared intelligence agencies. The Vanunu affair forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. Was he a principled whistleblower who exposed a dangerous secret? Or a reckless traitor who jeopardized his nation's safety? Was Mossad's operation an act of justice or a violation of international law? There are no easy answers. What is certain is that the operation remains one of the most infamous in Mossad's history, a mission where psychology mattered as much as strategy, and where one man's loneliness proved more powerful than any weapon. And that's how the girl from Mossad, with nothing more than charm, patience, and a well-laid plan, brought down the man who thought he could outsmart a nation. Vanunu's betrayal may have started with photographs in a newspaper, but it ended in a courtroom, behind bars, silenced for years. What makes this story so unsettling isn't just the politics or the espionage. It's the reminder that trust can be weaponized, that the simplest human need for connection can become the sharpest blade in the hands of an intelligence agency. So was Vanunu a whistleblower who dared to tell the truth, or a traitor who risked his country's survival? That debate will never end. But one fact is clear. In the silent war of secrets, the heart can be more dangerous than any weapon. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Also, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to our channel for more similar videos. Thanks for watching.